Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the On Time On Target Morning Brief. We invest fighter pilot on precision on a daily basis. Welcome to Monday morning, October 11th. And the question of the day, or the topic of the day, is what the heck is going on at Southwest Airlines? And is it time to short their stock? And I will say it most assuredly is. If you're a day trader, today is the day to hop in short. That's pretty easy because of, I think the latest number I saw, 1,800 and some cancellations. I was caught up in that personally at the very early wave. I was sitting at the airport at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning when the delays started rolling in. My flight was delayed. There was a Vegas, there was a bunch of us sitting there watching the UT football game, which was fun until the last few seconds. But the watching the beginning of that game, and all of a sudden the cancellations started rolling in. By the time I left the airport after my flight was canceled, a couple hours later, there were already 6 flights that were completely canceled on the board. So I took a picture of it, right? Because it's supposed to be going to Tennessee for a wedding, which obviously I missed. And at that point, it was obvious I was going to miss because there was no way to get on later flights. So anyhow, I took a picture so to make sure that somebody didn't think I was just making that up. And it's kind of crazy, but there's more and more cancellations. I think the last I've seen is 1,800 in the past few days. I did get it. I do have both flight attendants and pilots as clients due to my aviation background. And it's 100% the pilots that are causing this, not causing it, but, lay the blame wherever you want. But the pilots are the ones it's the shortages with the pilots, not the flight attendants. Again, a lot of it's because initially, how not to handle a crisis, right? Start making stuff up. Southwest initially came out and said it was weather and ATC delays, which, that's an interesting thing to say until no other airlines are having issues with weather or ATC delays, and those affect everyone the same. So a little public affairs 101, you need to not blame something that's going to be obvious that that's not the issue later. Okay. So might as well own it. They did not own it initially. They're still kind of hemming and haw about owning it, which is really weird because you would think at this point you would certainly be completely straightforward as to what's going on with people. But I have it in good authority that it is the pilots. There's a vaccine mandate that goes into effect. I believe the exact date is November 23rd. So a lot of pilots, especially the 60 and older crowd that are kind of in that I could retire now, whenever I feel like it sort of thing, or kind of saying, you know what, I'm not really interested in the vaccine, so I'm going to take my vacation days and then leave. Well, you are not required to forecast whenever you're going to take your vacation days, right? So they started canceling left and right. It wasn't really a group movement against the airline. It was more of a math problem, right? So a lot of folks are like, heck with this. I'm going to go ahead and retire a year or two early and instead of getting the vaccine. And that's their choice. And, but it wasn't a movement is what I'm being assured, is that there wasn't this behind the scenes, let's stick it to the airline sort of thing. It just happened that way, which is, if it was a movement, at least the airline could have forecasted it, right? Or mitigated it ahead of time. But no, they had to mitigate it real time, which is obviously not good, right? So it's interesting because I should be there, filming this live from Franklin, Tennessee, and I'm not. I'm home, but my flight is still showing that I'm supposed to be leaving Tennessee today. So I guess I will be one of the thousands that are calling Southwest today and saying, hey, guess what? Since I didn't take the flight to Tennessee, I'm not going to be on today's flight from Tennessee, right? Because I'm at my house. But that's what we're talking about today, is a little bit of Southwest. We'll take a look at the stock. For my investment advisory board, one of the questions that rolled in was, hey, let's talk about the reopening trade and airline stocks. And I went on a mini tirade, which wasn't really a tirade, but I have very strong opinions on this, which sometimes can come off as a tirade. Right. But no, I don't invest in airline stocks at all, unless, of course, it's taking them short. And today's a good day to take Southwest short, in my opinion. All right. Our question of the day is going to be, what is a Roth IRA? I'll talk to the differences real quick. There is kind of one thing I do get asked, do you have to have earned income to be able to contribute? And the answer is yes. And then the second question is, do you have to have earned income to convert? And the answer is no. Anybody can convert. but you'd have to pay the taxes, and you may just not be in the mood for that. So it becomes a pay now versus pay now at today's known tax rates versus pay later at other tax rates. Or, it's kind of weird. We say this all the time in the financial advisor community, or is this something you just want to die with? And a lot of people don't like to hear that. So there's probably better ways to say that. But obviously you get, you get it steps up in basis if you do pass away with a holding like an IRA, or not an IRA, but you get, that gets taxed, but everything within it gets stepped up. So anyhow, I'll get into that. I'll speak to that better. Than that was a little bit confusing there. As far as our longs and shorts, we do have two longs today. We have LQDA. Boy, I can't talk this morning. LQDA benefiting from a lawsuit. We also have Alibaba, Charlie Munger of the Buffett's buddy there at Berkshire Hathaway, starting to build a pretty significant stake. That news is out, so a lot of others are following suit. Again, I love Alibaba. Short, we have LUV, which is the Southwest airline, and HYLN, which got a double downgrade to a sell. So we'll take a look at both of those here in a minute. If you're catching us on replay, thank you so much for checking us out. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications bell. If you want to join us live, it's $25 a month to come on into the room. With that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, here's our lineup card for today. Again, it's Monday, October 11th. Standard disclaimer applies. As a financial education presentation, you have to do your own due diligence for active upon anything you hear this morning. And full disclaimer information is available at ototnow.com. I keep looking at my phone. I'm having some bit of a side conversation with one of my Southwest folks as to what's going on. So sorry to be distracted, which is just taken away from my ability to speak this morning. Okay, standard. Let's get back to this going here. Let's see. There it is. Okay, mission objectives: grow money, protect your money, live off your money. This is in reference to Southwest stock. Is this if you're a long-term holder of Southwest stock, you're probably up a bunch of money. Is this the time to sell? I don't like airline stock, so I would say any day is a good day to sell an airline stock. I don't think they'll go bankrupt out of this and need a bailout from the government, but you never know, right? How long can this continue, and how big of an issue is it? The word she used was the pilot shortage for Southwest is dire. So could be. Remember, airlines go through these waves. And especially know that because of my days in the Air Force as a pilot. All right, question of the day, Roth IRA. We'll get to that. Our flow will be standard, same with contingencies and academic resources. Let's take a look at that market real quick. So over to TD Ameritrade, looking at the market as a whole. All right, this is the S&P 500. We had a sell-off recently down to that 5 to 7%. And now we've kind of bounced up from that and kind of flatlined Friday, right? So we'll see how Monday works out. Futures are split right now. There's the 5-day chart. So again, trying to find its way, that is for sure. And then we'll come back to the day trading chart in just a minute. Let's take a look at these futures. This is CNBC.com. I'll refresh these for you. Dow in the green, S&P down a little bit. Excuse me, tech down a little bit further. All right, for around the world, let's see. Asia is mostly up. China's down just a fraction. Europe is split and light. Bonds 1.6%. This is creeping higher. This is going to become a news story, especially remember when we got up not too many months ago to about 1.8% or so. So again, I don't think it's a really big deal until it starts hitting close to 2%, but certainly something to keep an eye on. This is why we talk about it every day. All right, oil. I heard oil went over 80, and indeed it did, almost touched 81. We have not seen that in a while, so it looks like 7-year high is the headline there. So kind of crazy in oil land. Gold and silver selling off a little bit. And then crypto, Bitcoin up to 56,000. Remember, it was 40 not too long ago. So any of the crypto investments have really been on fire lately. All right, for headlines. Southwest shares tumble after mass cancellations. Carrier weighs more schedule cuts. Well, they have to. You you talk about, things take time, right? So, it takes a certain number of months to make a baby. You've probably heard that analogy before, and there's no real shortcut, right? Same thing with a pilot. You can't just create pilots, right? There's a ton of training to get qualified at this level. So if they aren't available, they aren't available. So that means schedule cuts, right? So let's take a look at the chart for Southwest real quick. So here we are back in the the beginning of 2021. We had the reopening trade of let's get stimulus out, let's beat COVID. We did. Well, then we kind of didn't. But certainly back in February, we thought we had this thing beat. And that's where you saw Southwest stock go from 46 all the way up to 62. So what's that, 35% gain there? And since then, it has started to sell that back off. This is the Delta variant, again, largely driving the airline stocks and how they move. Lately, the past month, half a month or so, it's kind of climbed higher. So what do I think is going to happen? I think it's probably going to be a straight path back down to 50 until they figure out what's going on. And I think two things. A, there's a sheer math problem of not having the pilots. But I think people, Southwest used to be the trusted name. And to come out with weather and ATC delays, that's not going to age well. Because when you say ATC delays, the FAA is like, say what? And immediately went on an offensive PR campaign to go, no, it's not. And of course, weather is anybody who's got a smartphone, i.e. everybody can go, really? There's like 4 clouds in the US and weather, you're playing with weather. It's like, come on, man. If you follow the ESPN shows, come on, man. All right, let's go over to TD Ameritrade and get set up for the open. I'll be right back. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday morning and the On Time On Target play of the day. Here is the opening bell. All right, let's get our stock set up here. We've got one long. So let's go LQDA is our long. And again, this is based off of winning a lawsuit. And the two shorts are going to be LUV, which is Southwest stock, which I expect to drop. So we'll look at it real quick. And then HYLN, which got a rare double downgrade to sell. So that's why it's off 7%. So again, left to right, these are all 1 minute charts. That's the S&P 500. You can see it's a little bit in the red. We have a short in a long in LQDA, and then a short in LUV and HYLN. All right, looking at the stock here for Southwest, touched 52.10. We'll go 52.15 with the 50 with a, let's go with 40-cent stop. So that is 51.85. Let's go 51.90, covering up at 52.15. That's a 35-cent stop. Excuse me, that is a 25-cent stop. Monday morning math. Okay, 51.90 going short. There it is. There's the entry. The stop is at 52.15. So since I've thrown a bunch of numbers out at you, let's do that math. It is actually a 25-cent stop. Here's your arrow down. So we need this to move all the way down 3R, which would be 75 cents. So get the arrow drawn here. Wake the brain up. All right. 51.90 minus 25 is going to take that to 51.65. So let's zoom out here. Hadn't been there yet, so I better write this down so they can't draw on my chart. So 51.65 is the first R, 51.40 would be the second R, and then your exit point is going to be 51.15. Is that called a moniker, or whatever, when they're saying backwards as forward? All right, it's Monday. So that's where we have, you can again take it here. We've covered the high of the day. Let's zoom in on this. We get a little better picture. If it goes north of 52.15, you got to get out, right? So that's what we're looking at. All right, HYLN falling off a cliff over here at 7% with that double downgrade. So it looks like that would have been easy money. Let's see if Southwest continues to sell off. Pretty confident that it has. Again, we're right at that, or that it's going to. We're right at that entry point of 51.90. And again, the exit is 51.15. So $1 from over the high of the day. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in the rest of the market. Again, have your stop here. I'm going to go off this chart. So if it hits 52.15, then we're out. Okay. It's kind of toying with it there. All right. Here's what we have going on off the left. Those are the greens of the day. Again, we'll look at the green and the red. Alibaba, we talked about almost 5%. KWEB, MSTR is the Bitcoin proxy that I use. KWEB, gotta love it. DraftKings, CRISPR Therapeutics, a lot of my favorite names that have been crushed lately are back up, which is kind of nice. QClean is the clean energy ETF. Palantir and they're up 0.5%. All right, let's see what's down today. The top one is a call in Apple, so Apple's probably in the red today, or even with the two. Revive Therapeutics off a little bit. Twitter, Comcast, AMC, Cybin, MNDT. I can't remember the exact name of the company, but that's the old FireEye. They went through a corporate. If you got an email about a corporate action or corporate renaming, that's what those look like. So that is the new, let's see what the name of the company is. MNDT is Mandiant. So Mandiant is the new FireEye. Again, that is a name change and ticker change. Cyber down a little bit. You know, that's one of my favorite themes, if not my exact favorite theme going into 2022. So lots on the move for a Monday. That's actually pretty good. A lot of times you see Mondays being kind of dead. All right. Well, we got knocked out of our trade. It went up to 52.19. So the red X of shame is here on a Monday morning. And what's really not good is this trade's going to go on to work. You can see the trade already. We barely got knocked out there, but already at the 1R point. You know, a minute and a half after we get knocked out of the trade, the trade's already in the green significantly. So that's how it works sometimes. That's why you do the math around here. Obviously, HYLN would have worked since it just fell straight off the cliff in a nice 3 to 4 or 5 hour move there south. Okay. All right. Let's go over to talk about Investopedia and the Roth IRA super quick. All right, what is it? It's a retirement account that allows withdrawals on a tax-free basis. Okay, so when you think of a traditional IRA, you put money in, but you get a tax break when you put your money in off your current taxes. So the theory is that your working years from 20 to 60 or 70 or whatever your situation is, it's different for everyone. At that point, you are going to want the tax break because you're making a lot of money and you'll get a lower tax break in retirement. So that's the traditional. The Roth is an opportunity to pay the taxes now. Basically what I call eat your vegetables first, so it's tax-free later. And there's a lot of different arguments over what's better. I can really tell you that mathematically, the Roth IRA is better 99% of the time. People want to argue that, and that's okay. It's what makes it a market, right? So but I will tell you that I do think that tax rates are going up from here. So that's why almost all of my money, the money that can be, again, some things like SEP IRAs and stuff are tied obviously to traditional rules. But for this, if it's not, hey, getting everything over to Roth, pay your taxes now. It depends on your income. If you're making more than $250K a year, then probably don't do that. But and then once you convert your traditional to a Roth, then you can do it back to a Roth IRA without any tax consequences year over year, which is kind of nice. So, but when you talk about the Roth, again, your limit is 6,000 if you're below 50, 7,000 if you're above 50. So same as traditional IRA. Almost all of them offer it. If you are still working and you have a Roth 401k option, generally that's your best bet is to go ahead and pay your taxes now. Get this money coded so it's tax-free for the rest of your life. All right. Opening, it's the same as traditional. These are not special anymore. They're not different. They used to be. Now it's just easy to open these things up and get them going. Once you are in retirement, then you should talk about what do you spend down first? Well, then it all depends on whether you want to pay taxes or not. And people are like, well, I don't ever want to pay taxes. It's you might consider paying some, right? Because if you're truly in retirement and you're not collecting Social Security yet, you might not actually have any income that's taxed, right? So in that case, you'd want to use your traditional because you're at a either 0 or 10% tax rate. So there's lots of strategies that go on in. If you're making a lot of money, well, then you definitely want to use your Roth first, live off of their taxable accounts, live off of that money first, and then save your traditional until your income drops, right? So, some things to consider. There's a spreadsheet that I use that helps people with that. So that is all I'm going to talk about today. All right. Thank you so much for checking us out, and enjoy your Monday, and we'll see you back tomorrow. Bye.